welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try and force in some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Hey guys, welcome to the Trinity Force Podcast. My name is Adam Ponophobia Cogswell. I am your host for this episode number 528. We had the listener question bonanza yesterday, or the episode before that, and we also had the frequently asked question episode hit this week, so you had 3 episodes hopefully in your box, and I hope you guys are enjoying every single one of those. But for tonight, Vrail, Punch, and Moon are joining me as we are going to run down patch 8.8. How's it going, fellas?
Hey.
Not bad.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
So there's enough patch here to talk for probably about an hour, but not enough patch that we're going to be stuck trying to rush through stuff like we normally do. And what's always makes me mad about when we do patch notes.
We'll see.
We spend forever on the first first half of it, and then we have to throw the rest in there.
I could see that happening again.
I don't know.
I'm not going to count it out.
I could just start with the trinkets then, if we just want to jump right into it.
Okay.
Before that,
go ahead.
BuddhaBoxers.com, BUDDHA Boxers.com/TForce. Use code TrinityForce for 20% off your entire order. Buddha Boxers are high-quality boxers made for men, made out of bamboo. They come in a variety of different colors and different styles. You can check those out at BuddhaBoxers.com/TForce. Check those out. They're awesome, you guys. You need a pair of good underwear in your life, just like everybody else. I don't know. I was going somewhere with that, and I missed it. Fuck it. I don't know.
That is true. Everyone does need good underwear.
You wear it every day. Do yourself a favor and surround your bits with some good
Invest
stuff.
in
Not everybody.
your
Not
underwear.
everybody wears it every day. Just saying.
That's true.
Vrail's one of those.
No, I'm not. But
All right.
I've heard rumors.
Commando Vrail.
Somebody he knows.
Right. Somebody I know told me.
Okay, let's just go on. I've heard stories.
All right, let's talk. I want to talk about the trinkets and the champions because Sweeping Lens has been removed from the game and Oracle Alteration is now available at level 1, which I think is a gigantic change.
It's massive.
Huge.
Less vision. It's great.
Well, just think about the level 1 where you can now invade the enemy jungle with Oracle's Alteration running, and they'll never see you walking in through the bush. Like they might see you. The only time they're going to see you is, on top of the Homeguard changes, is if they catch you in between or outside the fog of war or outside of a brush, right?
I mean, you'll know they're there because your ward will be disabled, basically. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, but who's sitting on it? It's more of you can now run through bushes to do those quick invades, like some people like to do. You know, how you just kind of you line up in your jungle and then you all run through the bushes to go try to catch somebody. You can run with an Oracle's Alteration going, so they'll never know that you're doing it. Or they might know if they're paying attention that their ward got disabled for a moment. But
a lot of the time, people aren't paying attention on level 1.
Yeah, I definitely think it's. I mean, this with there not being a tracker's knife anymore. It's just going to be. The vision game is a lot different now than it was earlier in the season.
Watch out top lane for those level 2 or level 2 or 3. Those 2 or 3 minute ganks.
I can't
You
wait.
just have to really be watching your ward now.
I'm creating a game just to make sure this is usable right off the bat. Okay, because I couldn't remember if there was a cooldown when the game started. But yeah, as soon as you buy it, when the game starts, you can use it.
Yeah, just like regular wards. So for those of you that forgot, Oracle's Alteration, it spins around you for a duration, and it disables any wards that you stand on. So if you're using it, you don't have to kill the ward you're walking over. You can legitimately use it just to try to walk through an enemy jungle and disable wards as you're walking by and they can't see you. It also reveals units in bushes, so you can pop it while you're walking through, and you can see if someone's in a bush before you get into it, potentially saving you from a death. There's a lot that could happen now level 1. I don't see this is a lot bigger for those pro play games, I would say, but even then I think people can go out there and abuse this. I don't know about you guys.
I'm still buying yellow trinkets, so it doesn't excite me very much, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's bigger that supports can get it earlier once they upgrade their Sightstone thing. Because I'm assuming they were getting that before level 9 normally, if the lanes are going well, and then they were having to sit on just the old one. They can only clear a certain spot. So I think that will be a nice quality of life change for them.
Yeah, you were completing your support item around 10 minutes. So around 10 minutes is when you pick up the oracles, the sweeping lens, and it was a bit after that before you were level 9 to be able to get alterations. So being able to sneak dragons earlier, prep for dragons earlier will be great because you can sweep more of the area with oracles alteration than you can with sweeping lens.
I don't think top lane changes much early. I'm probably still taking yellow trinket every game to start. But if I'm really beating my opponent, I might take the oracles at level 6 or 7 just to be really aggressive with clearing vision, and maybe my jungler can gank or dive with me.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to have really good lane control. So you probably have a pink where the jungler is most likely to come from, and then you can try and suffocate them by taking out their whatever vision they did manage to get down. But I feel like laners in general are just going to stick with the trinket. It's more of a jungle support thing, I believe.
Right. There's not really any reason to have it anybody else. But if I don't die...
Excuse you. Don't die.
It's something about Louisiana, man. I come down here, and I've never had allergies in my life, and then I come down here, and pollen is just abundant in the South, apparently, and now it's hitting me like a fucking 20-pound bag of bricks.
The other week, all the cars around here were just a nice dust of yellow.
I've never seen that.
All the pollen in the air.
My car was completely covered in yellow, and I think we went to gas station in Arkansas one day, and all the pumps were covered in yellow. I'm like, what the fuck?
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Remind me to never go there.
Mm-hmm.
Claritin is key.
I'm gonna need some. Sorry. So if I'm a little bit congested, that's why. Trinket swap rules, by the way. Swapping from one trinket to another now retains the same percentage cooldown as the previous one, rather than resetting to 120-second cooldown.
So the first application I thought of is all those times where I wish we had a blue trinket to check Baron. Now we can. Assuming, my trinket's off cooldown.
Right. Yeah.
Which isn't always the case, but
I don't know. For a marksman, this doesn't change anything. I suppose it's better for a jungler, right? Where maybe you suddenly need wards instead of an oracle's alteration. Or top laner needs to pick up oracles instead of wards, and I think the blue trinket might work for some people. I mean, it's a nice quality of life change, and really is how the trinket should have worked previously.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, not meta game breaking, I don't believe, but still a very nice quality of life change.
It's quality of life for everyone.
All right, so let's talk about home start too, because we're down here. Home start, the buff now rapidly decays over 0.75 seconds after crossing the outer turret line, and you don't get it until 55 seconds into the game. Did I read that right? Yeah.
This has probably happened to y'all, where you're all grouped in a bush, and then someone's late leaving from their thing, and they just come through like the Flash because they still have that huge move speed and can't do anything. They're just in and out so quickly. So basically, they can't do that anymore.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry. I read that incorrectly. The fountain grants the buff up until 55 seconds in the game. So if you've been AFK, you can still get it. It was 35 seconds. That's why I was like, that doesn't make sense, what I was saying. The no longer instantly falls off. It now decays over 0.75 seconds after crossing the outer turret line. They wanted to make it easier for invades to happen because they felt like they did.
Right.
Oh, wait, did they change it? Did I misread it?
Yeah.
Oh, I misread it. Never mind. The opposite of what I said. You could do it better now.
Right. Everything we just said is wrong. The correct thing is
Shit.
now.
I was looking forward to not be able to do that. I totally misread it. That's my bad.
No, now you can't make it to the outriver as quickly as you previously could, is essentially what it was. And it gives more opportunity for invades to happen between that and Oracle Alteration.
Because if you go into the enemy jungle for an invade and you sit in a bush, somebody late from the enemy team could run into it with the movement speed buff. Your team wouldn't have it anymore because you crossed the river. But they would still have it. So they would run into the bush, or at least run close enough to see you, and then they can run away again, still with the movement speed. So it's a little frustrating in that regard.
Cool. Home start. That's a thing. All right, well, let's talk about these changes. LeBlanc getting reverted on this patch. If any of you out there played back in Season 6, LeBlanc got changed. And now she's being pushed back to that previous state where her passive. Well, let's talk about it this way. Her passive is her ultimate is now on her passive, and she no longer has a wind up to pop her the chains, right? You put the chains on, there's a little circle that goes around the little mark. The mark is instant, essentially. So if she gets sent below 40% health, she instantly drops all aggro, pops into 2, and she can move one of the mirror images around and do some trickery with that. And now Q, W, and E all had base damage changes, and the R now mimics the last ability cast. So essentially, you are now popping. You're using Q and then an ability, and then potentially using Q again, or you can double dash W. I don't remember the old combo. It's been that long, 2 years ago.
The way it is on live now, it's kind of if you are, it just refreshes all your cooldowns basically, and you can recast them.
Yeah,
I think, and this you have to use the.
It copies the last spell.
Now it does on live. I think you can choose whichever one you want.
Yeah.
So that's the big change.
Whatever one you want.
Yeah, imagine you're like switching forms with Jace, and then like your Q isn't still on cooldown just because
that was
you used your hammer form Q.
That was previously reworked LeBlanc.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's like partially a revert to her old state.
Well, I mean, it is like it's a full revert. They just tweaked the numbers a bit because previously in season 6 I remember you were maxing W because you needed the wave clear, and it looks like that might be going back to that because W had its base damage increase as well as its ratio on W. So you use Q to get the extra a mark to deal extra damage, and you just W on top of them,
and then you hit R and W again.
Right for
the maximum burst.
But so any of those old LeBlanc mains, you might be really happy. I'm not too excited about this because I think this version of LeBlanc is pretty toxic, but I understand why they're going back to it. It's just easier to play this LeBlanc than it is the new one. Especially, wait till you get those Aram people that are playing LeBlanc again. All they do is QWW.
I haven't played LeBlanc since she was reverted or reworked.
Oh, really? 2 years?
Yeah.
Never played her?
No, never played her. I did play her prior to that. A little bit.
So you remember. So you remember what she's like, and now you can...
Nothing's changed.
Yeah, it'd be like riding a bike.
LeBlanc's just the same as she always was.
I'm not going to go over all the numbers and whatnot that got changed on it, but you just, for your information, you need to land a Q first, and then you need to land an ability after Q to pop it. You no longer have to like E and wait.
Yeah, only the Q applies it though, I think.
Yes.
None of her other abilities don't.
That is correct.
Which is also a change.
So
there's a lot of text here.
Yeah,
I read over it once. I don't remember all the fine details.
I mean, we said it 100 times. That's all it is. You need to land a Q, and then you need to hit them with another ability, and that pops the Q mark. And then whatever ability you last cast, if you press R, you cast that ability again. So that's all you need to know. Ahri. Ahri's getting a change on this patch. So she no longer gets the movement speed off of the Q because they felt like that was kind of, I don't want to call it toxic, but it was just an unfair advantage for her because she could exchange ganks too easily.
This is a bit of a rework or revert for her as well.
It is.
Mm-hmm. They tried to make her less assassin-like and more of a movement speed or kitey mage. But having the ultimate and the movement speed on Q was just too much. It was too hard to get to her. And when she started snowballing, she didn't really get... She didn't get that oomph that you were expecting. Like, if she got an early kill, she wouldn't snowball as hard as, really wanted to.
Yeah, she would just be in a lead and, like, just impossible to...
Yeah. Harder to kill.
Basically. Yeah, just harder to get.
So, now, if Ahri, her passive, if Ahri earns 2 spell hits against an enemy champion within 1.5 seconds, she gains 20% movement speed for 3 seconds. That's how she's getting that extra movement speed. So if you EQ somebody, you gain the extra movement speed to be able to walk into Foxfire, for example.
Or just hit them with both sides of Q, I think, because it's spell hits, not unique spells hitting them, I think.
Yeah, that too. But you're going to almost always open it. You're going to be opening up the combo with an E because E is being changed back to it's being reverted back. So when a charm damages an enemy champion, Ahri's abilities deal 20% more damage to them for 5 seconds. And I remember them removing this charm piece for a bit there because they felt it was too powerful.
There's the assassin.
That's
part
back
of
when
it.
you could combine it with DFG.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Orbit Deception. It no longer gains movement speed if Ahri earns 9 spell hits, max 3 per cast. She gains Essence Theft, causing her next Q to restore health for each enemy hit. I don't believe the loud one was each enemy hit, right?
No, this used to be on her old passive, where she would gain life back. I think it was just was it just Spell Vamp?
Yeah, I think it was Spell Vamp.
Oh.
But yeah,
Once
now
she had
so
it
it's
stacked, she would just Q the whole wave and like get a shit ton of health back.
mhm.
It made her really hard to push out of lane.
Foxfire. It now costs 40 mana. Foxfire prioritizes any enemy champion affected by charms, damage, amp, and the target Ahri most recently basic attacked within the last 3 seconds.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I like the
And
prioritizing
increased
thing.
increased range against priority targets too,
725.
and a slower delay, or no, I'm sorry, less of a delay before the Foxfire actually triggers against your priority target.
I imagine this would help blast hitting under turret also because you'll be able to target a minion. I think also.
Oh, it says enemy
It's
champion.
enemy champions. Damn, never mind.
Yeah.
That's sad.
Darn. Oh well. Yeah, I mean this is putting up. It seems like it's putting in a lot more damage for her single target. No, almost. I don't know. I don't know if it's too much, but 20% damage bonus, and now Foxfire hits a lot more reliably. That's a little scary.
Well, it looks like they nerfed the base damage on 2 major abilities at least to compensate. I mean, her Q is going to be deadly. Like that's the thing is like her Q damage is unchanged. Her Q is going to be super deadly, but her ult's not really as scary as it was.
Well, no, I think the alt change is negligible because the base damage is lower, but it gets 0.10% more AP. So I don't think that's actually. It's 10% level. It's 10 off level 1, 20, and then 30. But by the time you're getting those ranks, you should have enough AP where it's not actually changed at all.
That's probably not a significant difference, but if you're not getting the 20% boost, then it is a big difference.
Yeah.
Okay, if you have to ult after missing charm, for example, like you're gonna be really.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you're definitely punished for not hitting charm now, which that was the case it was before.
Which I mean, good Ahri should always be hitting charm. That's always been a key part of her combo. So
pretty much.
I think I like
solve your crisis, pun.
The dog was going nuts, and so I had to figure out why her barking collar wasn't working. She's got a little barking collar that just buzzes when she barks because we're in a neighborhood next to a school.
It's
and
the buzz.
We don't want the dog.
Not a high pitched whine. I've seen those bark collars before.
It can do that too.
No.
It is not a shock collar. I do not have shock and turn on it. It just buzzes, bzzz, and it does work, but it wasn't working. The sensitivity was turned down too low, but she was going fucking nuts, and I'm trying to figure out why my dog is going nuts.
Well, it's nice that it works. The last dog I knew that had a bark collar didn't care. I just barked through it.
It's like a nice neck massage.
Right.
Right.
It had the high whine on it, and you could tell it bothered the dog. It's like she would like pin her ears back, like, ugh, I don't like that sound. But then she'd keep barking. It's a little terrier, a little lippy dog.
Oh, fuck those dogs.
I swear, terriers don't have brains, though.
Uh,
At least in my personal experience.
All right, let's talk about Irelia, another champion for people who don't have brains. Base stats, base armor
What?
gone up.
Wait,
to
what?
30.
What was that?
What? Nothing. What? No, we're just gonna move
okay,
on.
go ahead.
Right.
Okay.
Base armor up to 34 from 31. Q blade surge damage to minion up to 70%. E flawless duet no longer credits Irelia for several minions kills with each cast. Thank you. Our Vanguard's edge cooldown was 120 to 90, is now 140 to 100. Missile damage has been decreased. It was 150 to 400, is now 125 to 325. And the wall damage is 125 to 75, is now 75 to 175.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. I played Irelia to...
I still haven't played Irelia very much, so
Camille.
Yeah, I mean...
doing Camille things.
Extra damage to blade surge against
Getting
minions.
broke.
I mean, that's nice, but I don't know. I never had any problems slashing minions with that auto turret. I guess this makes it a little bit easier if you're, I don't know, bad at weaving in auto attacks and you just want to rely on Q. This could work for lasting minions better, but I don't know. I don't think that's much of a big deal. 3 base armor, that's nice. The wall damage taken off of R is pretty huge, but you don't really rely on that damage for your burst combo. Like, you're not counting on your target to walk through that wall, because most of the time, I mean, they're looking to avoid doing that because they're going to get disarmed, and obviously they're going to take the damage. So that was just kind of a nice to have, I feel like. Unless you got like a big alt off in a team fight and you had multiple targets got hit by that, and maybe you hit the back line and they have no choice but to run away, then it could hurt.
I don't know. I feel like because with the wall, the missile damage and the wall damage is down 75 damage. I feel like that can be the difference between getting a kill with a level 6 all in.
Missile damage, yeah, definitely for the missile damage. Yeah, I agree with you. Like at level 6, Irelia can go all in and get a kill, but 25 damage down at level 6, 50 at 11, and 75 at 16. Yeah,
I'm thinking the combo where like you're winning the trade and they're gonna have to walk out to try and survive, and then you don't get the extra 50 damage, and maybe they live with a sliver. I think that really hurts their level 6 all in, but I
that's a good point too.
A ton.
They might escape now.
I am not entirely sure how I feel about Irelia, but she definitely seems weak. I think the 3 base armor is probably a good buff. I think the Q change is meaningless. Obviously, he's just a bug fix, whatever. I don't know, man. That's a lot of damage lost on R for 3 armor. I'm not sure if it's really worth it.
It is.
Well, I think, isn't the consensus that she's like just totally terrible early and gets bullied really hard, but scales really low?
It's like the only matchup Garen wins right now, I think. So.
That's the common consensus. But I mean, if you watch Irelia 1 tricks, they don't seem to be struggling too hard in the laning phase. Maybe it's just because they're really, really effing good. But supposedly they should be playing against other players that are really good. So,
well, you gotta remember too, like not only is there a curve to learning a new or recently reworked character, but there's a curve to playing against them as people get better, because people start hitting you with tricks that you haven't seen before, and you kind of get caught off guard.
They start expecting how she might use her E now.
Yeah, exactly. And like maybe Irelias are getting more creative with their Q and R use now. So, because like I think the alts that I saw with Irelia when people first playing her, not even close to good. Like useless 9 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah, sure. I've failed a great many deal of alts.
But it's one of those abilities, it's got that curve to it. And then now people are getting like hit by the ult, where before they weren't, and now they're not sure how to respond. So it was a little bit of a back and forth. I don't think we're going to know exactly how good or bad she is for another patch or two, but
I agree.
Definitely on the weaker side early. I think that's fairly well established.
I don't think this is the last time we've seen her in a patch. I think the jury's still out. I think Riot's still trying to figure out where she needs to be.
All right, well, no nerfs for Irelia. Well, actually, I can't say that. Better nerf for Irelia. They got the R down. The meme still. The meme is dead.
The meme lives.
No, it's dead.
No, it lives. They just nerfed her. What are you talking about?
They never nerfed Irelia.
What did we just read?
I'm fucking with you, Punch.
Get out of here. Go into Azir. Can't take you anymore.
Ryze damage to non-primary targets significantly down. It was 40 to 100%. Is now 25, 50, 75, 100% at levels 1, 6, 11, 16. Good. Fuck that champion.
Man, many nerfs in a row. Many. I mean, he's the worst champion. Win rate Ryze mid besides Victor, so he sucks, and he sucks more now.
Aren't they? Aren't they planning on removing secondary damage altogether on his soldiers? I thought I read that on a PBE.
It may have been in one of the cycles.
This is just kind of the first step where eventually they just want to make soldiers only do damage to the primary target, so he's not a god at wave clearing.
Oh yeah, and not a god in team fights either. He's just really fucking good
at everything.
Play. Yeah, because he
I don't know, because it still scales up to 100%, so it's just making it worse early.
Yeah.
Well, significantly worse early. You've nerfed it by 15%.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't think so. Go ahead.
I was just going to say a little bit easier to push against him in the mid game now, at least. So if you can, if you can get an advantage in one lane, take top turret, or I guess bottom turret would be the better example. If you got, your bot lane duo doing well in the lane, and they take the turret and then they group mid. Maybe now they can take that mid turret and not, fruitlessly struggle against Azir's wave clear.
But he can just build another turret. That's
Yes,
the
he
great part
can.
about it.
Nah, fuck this champion. All right, moving on to Braum, because fuck that champion too. Base stats, armor growth down to 4 from 4.5. W, stand behind me. Resistance granted was 17.5 to 27.5. It is now 10 to 26. Bonus resistances are now applied more responsibly.
Responsively.
Right. Responsively.
Okay.
It's just another one of those like pro play nerfs, right? Because he was pick banned 100% during the finals.
Oh, it shows how much I was paying attention.
He picked
I wasn't paying
just too many free stats for an ability that's supposed to bolster behind. You bolster the champion behind the E, which is blocking everything, so the champion isn't dying when you jump in. It's just he gave too much for the current state of the game. But you don't really see Braum like ever, right? In solo queue.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking. Like I hardly ever see Braum, but
It's pro play.
Yeah,
that's
only
because
Janna and
freaking
Lulu
pro
and
play so much.
Blitzcrank.
It's the same thing with
Pretty
Galio.
much.
It's a pro play nerf here. Our hero's entrance cooldown 180 to 120 is now 200 to 160.
Galio's dead. He's
Oh,
dead
too.
for solo queue. This is so sad. His ultimate cooldown now has the same cooldowns as Karthus' ultimate.
Jeez.
Which
Ugh.
is stupid.
Time to get some ultimate hat going. Just to get it back
I
to
guess.
what it should be.
And
Poor
he's also
Galio.
he got a 40-second he got a 40-second nerf at rank 16, and has the third worst win rate. So I don't get why they felt the need to do that, because he's already nerfed his Q. He's just like he can't do anything mid anymore. But I feel like he's also the type of champion who because of what his kit can do, he's either going to be super strong or his numbers are going to be so bad that he's not viable, which is kind of where he's at right now.
Yes.
Poor Galio.
All right, Graves getting a change in this patch as well. Base stats, health growth increased to 92 from 84. And collateral damage now does a little less, that has a cooldown a little less. It was 120 to 80, is now 110 to 60.
Not excited to see this fucking character again.
Yeah,
I
60
forgot about
second
him.
cooldown is short.
With that health growth stat, that's a pretty significant buff for how much health he's gaining per level. Does that translate well into top lane? Does he have enough damage and enough trading potential with some extra health to be able to start walking back up there?
I mean, he could top before in certain matchups, just by perma shoving.
Isn't the problem that minions block his auto attacks? So he's like,
No, he was actually really good in top lane, like Moon said. Like back when he was good jungle, he was also really good top. Because he was really tanky through True Grit, and he was really tanky and could push really well.
I mean, I'm not a Graves expert, but I would be not super surprised if we saw him in a fringe play from time to time.
I agree with that. All right, Janna getting changed in this patch. If you want to know about more about Janna,
Huge.
patreon.com/TForce Network.
Huge Janna nerfs.
Base stats, movement speed down to 315. Zephyr base damage, it was 60 to 240. It is now 55 to 235.
What a joke.
holy shit. They can say they nerfed Janna. That's basically what this is. Look, guys, we nerfed Janna. This is stupid.
They don't care at all about the balance in this game. What a joke.
So
She did need the base movement speed. These are warranted. Even if you feel they're a joke, they are warranted, because really good Janna players were putting early points in the W, if not maxing it early, and using that to bully out the enemy with Ahri or Comet in lane, and they could do it into certain matchups. However, with the way the landscape is going, Janna isn't having the greatest of time on a bottom lane, because the enchanters or the mage types are actually bullying her out, and the tanks are kind of going the way of the dodo slowly. So it was warranted, but she wasn't overtaking any. She's overtaking any game if she's played by a significantly better player.
for solo queue, she is still, according to numbers, the best go-to support, though.
Oh yeah, that's what
She
I'm
is
saying.
the most frequently picked support as well.
She's highest win rate, highest pick rate before this patch, right?
Right.
She still might be.
Yeah, Janna is a phenomenal solo queue support. She does everything you need to be able to do in solo queue. She bullies lanes, she protects laners, she sets up objectives, she does everything a support needs to do. The problem is she has a very high skill cap and the even higher skill ceiling.
I don't know. She has the highest win rate for the last 4 patches and was the first most picked in 3 of them and the second most picked in the other one. I don't know if a high skill cap's what I would say.
She was that same way during the what was it? Fuck.
She might have a high skill cap, but she also has a super high skill floor.
Or
Like
low.
you can be terrible and still win games with her.
Other way around, right?
It's just the thing is like shields are just redank, right? And area is like really good on her. So like you just point and click shield on the right target, and that's pretty much all it takes to be a good Janna most of the time.
Press R when there's someone on.
When they jump in. Yep.
Yeah, press R when the assassin gets close.
And then start charging your Q, and when they come back in, you Q them. Boom.
I mean,
team fight 1. Everyone's at full health on your team, and they're all dead.
And her slow is point and click too, so it's like, you know.
Right.
These are small nerfs, as we pointed out. I don't think it's going to be shocking if this does affect her win rate in the short term, because we've seen Janna nerfs before in the past. I mean, Janna's gotten nerfed multiple times, right? She's always been a great solo queue support, like season after season after season. That has never changed, but she's been nerfed before, and her win rate has dipped as a result. But it always climbs back up again over time. Like it's almost like in the short term, people will see Janna nerfs and say, okay, she's in a fine spot now, and then over time realize, wait a second, I forgot about Janna. She's still really, really good, and then she climbs back up to that 52, 53% win rate.
Janna's, she's like you said, you touched everything. Janna's a phenomenal solo queue support, and that's all it comes down to. Xayah getting a change in this patch. Base stats, her base health regen has been decreased from 6.2 to 5.5. Health regen growth was 0.75, is now 0.55. Icathian Rain, the damage ratio was 0.4, it is now 0.35. 6 missiles damage ratio was 1, it is now 0.875. 12 missile damage ratio was 1.72, it is now 1.505 bonus attack damage. Oh, they changed it to bonus. No, it is bonus. Sorry, it's always been bonus. Yeah, I agree with these changes all around. She was too significantly overpowered in laning phase, and throughout the entire point of the game, she had real counters.
Yeah, too hard to punish, I'd say. Without help, without jungle assistance, probably too hard to punish and keep down for an ADC with as low range as she has.
I feel like they need
to win condition against her is to shut her down to her laning phase, and with that much health regen, it's hard to do that.
I feel like they need to lower how much move speed she gets with her while she's charging up her attack speed, because it's like a get out of jail free. She just presses that and then can run away from anything. So, I mean, I'm happy she got nerfed.
She has to put points into it before she actually, really benefits from that. But I know what you're saying. As soon as she hits that threshold to upgrade it too, that is it's a very good skill. She gets a lot of movement from that in her ultimate.
It was just a no-brainer that she was going to be phenomenally good out of bottom lane after the last changes that went through, and I'm surprised it took him an extra patch to hit her. But here they are. So hopefully the just knocking off base health regen and health regen growth does quite a bit for somebody's laning phase, and should allow you to punish her more. And then the extra damage she was doing, or the extra buffs she's doing, don't mean jack as much. I was gonna say jack shit, but they do mean something.
They have some meaning. All
right, Lissandra got to get a change in this patch.
Who?
Again, I'm going to go with Moon here. Riot has no fucking clue what they're doing. This is horse shit. Ice Shard. The mana cost is down 75 from 85. Frozen Tomb cooldown 130 to 80, now 120 to 80. She does not need a mana cost decrease on Q. I mean, she does, because they're fucking... Her mana costs Her mana costs are gated by her passive, and she has the worst fucking passive ever.
Yep.
And that's
it's balanced around a passive. Like, the passive is supposed to give you a bonus, right? And in Lissandra's case, since that balance around it, like, oh, she can cast a spell for free. Well, I mean, it just makes her kit overall weaker because her mana costs are so high. Like, well, because this passive is so good, using air quotes, we have to make her mana cost high.
Riot does that with so many champs. Gives them like a quote-unquote like statistical strength in their kit somewhere on an ability, as maybe as a passive, and then they nerf whatever the base stat is on your actual champ.
So
Like
they're really
Garen-
more in line with that stat than you would expect.
Yeah, like Garen has good regen from passive supposedly, but his base HP regen sucks. And he gets armor from W,
the
but
point?
his base armor sucks. So yeah, and like Sion scaling HP sucks, but he gets all that stacking HP from W. So it's like, does his scaling HP suck?
Right. And no, Lissandra needs that passive. If Dom was here, he'd go off. I know he hates it. So, you know, it's great. They change these things. Have more fun with Lissandra and Aram, I guess, because she's still. I mean, this might change in the next patch.
You're gonna have a lot more mana in lane because you're just queuing all the time. So 10 mana is gonna add up over time.
Yeah,
I agree. That's nice.
it is nice, but it's not enough.
I think she needs more work.
It's not gonna make her
yeah.
like way better than she is currently, but you're definitely gonna feel the difference because you're using Q almost nonstop during laning phase.
I'm looking this up
Yeah.
because I should have looked this up before. But I'm pretty sure like the amount of Qs that you're gonna get off from this is like a half a Q by the mana that you're saving. Right? Because as you move into like level 9 and 10, you're Eing with your passive because it costs so much, and then you're queuing to get all the extra damage to clear a wave. Yeah, Q, so it's a flat 75 mana cost now with the cooldown decreasing. And
Well, I mean, if you queue like 8 times, you get a Q for free, basically, which you're probably doing that much in lane, so you're getting an extra Q.
I was looking up per mana. No, you're not. It doesn't matter. She has 304 mana to start. She has
but with her
jack shit.
passive and your mana regen and Doran's Ring, you're not just gonna run out.
You have 400 mana at level 3 with a passive. Like, it doesn't equal up. The amount of Qs you're tossing, it doesn't matter. 10 mana doesn't mean... I mean, it's great. Yes, it helps, and maybe you get... And maybe with the mana regen, it does give you 1 extra ice shard, but it doesn't fucking matter. In the long run, Lissandra still sucks ass right now, and she can't keep up with the rest of the mages. She might be really, really good. She might be a champion that I should probably tell people to go play if they're like silver or gold, because I bet she does phenomenally out of mid lane there. And she can gank pretty cool, pretty easily with E, but other than that, I wouldn't even tell you to touch Lissandra.
I would play her more, but I'm terrible at using ult to self cast, so I always are the wrong person. I'm trying to R myself.
That's a problem.
So I can't get myself to use ult and then an ability. But if I could do that, I think she's super fun to play. But
I just thumb alt and pointer finger R.
yeah, I can't do that. I don't know why. It just doesn't click with my brain.
All right, Nautilus being changed in this patch. Base mana is going up from 334 to 400. Base attack damage going up to 61 from 57.54. Dredgeline cooldown being decreased. It was 18 to 10. Is now 14 to 10.
More Qs.
I don't 4 seconds is a lot.
I don't think this means anything. He got too many nerfs out of W and E that are forcing him out of the jungle. He just can't compete with the clear speed of anybody else.
A lot of the jungle, maybe, but
top lane doesn't matter because they nerfed E so significantly before
he
was doing damage.
He relied on E in top lane and W for jungle. I mean, I don't know. 4 second. If you're using Q as a one-hit wonder, 1 point wonder.
There we go.
What am I talking about? I mean, the 4 seconds off is pretty nice, and that's.
I think most Nautilus was using Q as a one hit because they were maxing W right in the E second.
Depending on where you're at. You have W jungle, E, W jungle support, E top lane.
Yeah, I mean 4 seconds is 4 seconds. And doesn't it get cooldown reduced if you hit something?
If you hit a wall.
Okay. Yeah, I mean it's a nice change, but probably doesn't make him any better than he currently is.
No, it doesn't.
I mean, I think one of the nerfs he got
Go ahead.
back when he was good top was the I think he got mana cost nerfs. So adding his base mana or adding mana to his base mana pool is gonna offset that a little bit. I don't know if it's enough to make him good, but it'll help.
They also changed it so E can't hit twice. It used to be able to, in top lane, you could hit it and pull somebody into it to force them for a double hit for double damage, and they removed that portion of it. So that was another reason he was really, really good at top lane. I don't see him coming back anytime soon. At least not top. The meta's gonna have to significantly shift to like really slow junglers, or they're gonna have to give him more damage out of W, like dot damage or AoE damage, in my opinion. Ryze Spell Flux. The cost was 40 to 100. Is now 60 to 100.
Doesn't matter because they're reworking Ryze again.
Right. So forget that change. Now we go to the Sion. Decimating Smash. Damage ratio was 0.65 total attack damage. Is now 0.45, scaling to 0.65 with each point. Full charge damage was 1.95 total attack damage. It now goes 1.35 to 1.95. And the base damage has been increased. It was 20 to 100. Is now 30 to 100.
1.95? What the fuck?
That's pretty good.
Why did I never... I've seen like videos of lethality sign, but holy shit, that's a lot of damage.
So, if you got to make the choice between Q and E now. I mean, if you're going to level E first, they're taking some damage away from the 1 point in Q.
Right.
So that you don't have, too much damage as an unkillable tank. But now you could just level Q.
But you're leveling W instead for the extra shield, right? Like, does this really matter? Really? So
first? Not first. I mean first.
Second.
Yeah.
No,
well,
were you doing EQ previously?
It's been a while since I've played Sion.
I'm pretty sure it was EW.
I did EQ because I wanted to kill people. Not killing people is boring, Pone. I don't know if you know that.
No, well, he doesn't really need help killing people when he has Comet and just E's and Comets everybody to the face because they're slowed. But yeah, now you're just giving up some attack damage ratio nerfs, but Sion wasn't really building attack damage early. So does this really matter? I don't think so.
Yeah, it looks like Q was last.
Right.
It was W second.
Mm-hmm. I don't think this changes that much with him because, like I said, when did Sion ever build in the attack damage? Besides maybe like a Jerem's Fist or something.
No, again, if he's leveling E first, it's going to lower some of his Q damage in lane.
That's what their goal is.
Yeah.
You can't have both, the best of both worlds. You have to choose.
So a little more tolerable to lane against.
Yeah. He's probably still really annoying to play against.
Aren't you maxing E first in the shield, then Q, though?
Yeah, that's what we just said.
Okay.
Yeah,
Pay attention,
most of the time it was EWQ.
Tahm Kench getting a change in this patch. Fuck that champion. W Devour, no more fast food. Tahm Kench no longer gains movement speed while moving towards enemy champions with a friend in his belly. Thick Skin, the percent of gray health restored over time was 25 to 45%, is now 15 to 35%.
Oh, thank God. He is mortal.
Another
he can bleed.
Champ.
Yeah, super busted. Just the fact that his W can save anybody, he can fucking run away like lightning. It's just horse shit. I hate this champion, and I think the Thick Skin change is phenomenal because you might be able to actually kill him. But the fact that he can still counter most team comps or most assassins and whatnot is still going to make him good.
Yeah, I'd love the E change because now you might actually be able to harass him in lane and do some lasting damage. Before it just felt so worth it. It was such a waste of time. It's like, oh man, look at all this damage I did, but all of it is gray health, so he's just going to heal the majority of it. Felt bad.
So yeah, fuck that champion. Taliyah, I know this is great patch notes. This is me the entire time. Fuck that. Fuck this. This is fucking stupid. I hate
this champion. I hate this champion. For the most part, I agree with you.
You're gonna be doing a lot of champion fucking from what I've heard.
It's true. You know what it is? It's that they are actually hitting all the champions that I've hated to play against forever, and it's just me saying, "Good job, Riot, for hitting them." But you're not. I need you to be a little faster on the uptake here. Like nerfing Xayah a patch before this, when everybody and their brother could see what the buffs you did. I mean, no. All right, I'm getting off. Hold on. All right, put my soapbox away. Taliyah.
Just saying, Rengar is not in this patch, so it can't be all of them.
I just ban Rengar. That's my go-to ban every time I play.
Fair enough. Kha'Zix isn't in this patch either.
Or Nocturne. Base stats, health was 532 to 502. That is Taliyah. Q threaded volley cooldown was 9 to 3. It is now 11 to 3. So
it's a lot less health.
Rip Taliyah, because
that is a squishy person. Jeez.
Yeah, rip Taliyah. If you were playing her, I feel sorry for you now because you are so squishy. Does she have less health than Sona now?
No, I think
Impossible.
Sona might be one of the champions that starts with 400 something.
Yeah, you're right. She does. She starts with health 482.4.
Nice.
2 seconds early on her Q is going to be a bummer because what she does, she just wants to push and roam, so she's not going to be able to do that as effectively.
Well, considering like Ahri is getting buffed in this patch, and Ahri's got 526 life to start, and she's going to clear just as well, if not better. Plus, she's getting health off of Q. Like, I think Ahri obviously Ahri became significantly better with that revert. So does and so does LeBlanc. So Taliyah is going to stand no chance against these two champions that got buffed on this patch.
I mean, Ahri's wave clear is not as good as Taliyah can instantly clear the wave as soon as it walks up, and then roam and have her cooldowns up by the time she's there.
Ahri should
like Taliyah has one of the best wave clear, one of the most consistent wave clear in the game.
Right.
Ahri only has her Q. She has to Q it 2 or 3 times and be auto attacking the whole time.
Ahri's not killing the wave; she's killing Taliyah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
EQW level 3, and that's like all her HP because she has no HP.
All right, let's talk about the next champion here. Varus getting a change on this patch. They apparently want to give W a active portion of it. So his passive, Living Vengeance, the bonus attack speed on champion kill has been decreased to 30% from 50%. Bonus attack speed on minion kill decreased to 15%. Now, those are some significant changes because you were gaining a lot of free attack speed by just killing minions and being able to go into a fight. But to try to make up for it, Bladed Quiver on hit damage has been decreased. It was 10 to 26. It now does 5 to 21. The active the Varus's next Q piercing arrow does additional damage equal to 6 to 10% of the target's max missing HP. Damage is increased by up to 50% based on charge time. So does this bring back mid Varus? Is that what we're seeing now? Is he going to be able to compete, like wave clear and compete, and be able to poke down like we've previously seen?
I don't think so, because didn't they nerf the Q cooldown ridiculously when Lethality Varus was a thing? So it's, or not as Q, this ability is W. Like, it used to be on such a short cooldown, and then when Lethality was so broken, everyone was just maxing that and literally killing squishies with 2 arrows. So I think the cooldown on it is still going to be too long to be able to
go back to mid,
really poke out people.
I don't have a whole lot to say about Varus, but I think it's cool that they've added this interaction. Like, I think I like the way it looks.
He's got an execute. It just seems a little weird that they decided to give him another button to press, but all it really does is buff another button. I just thought that
I feel like no matter what the meta is, Varus always has a build that can fit into it because he can do on hit, he can do crit, he can do AP. He just always has some way he can build with
full
whatever
AD,
items are strong.
no attack speed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I'm curious to see.
He's really versatile.
I'm curious to see if this changes laning for him now, because you were maxing E previously. Because there was more consistent damage, so people always put the points into that. But now that you're getting more with Q, I bet you're still putting early points into E. If you're not just putting early points, you're still maxing E and then getting Q last. Because by the time that the piercing arrow damage is happening, it's not till team fights, right? You're using it to snipe somebody off, or using it for a quick pop of your Bladed Quiver.
I mean, I could see, like you were saying, maybe 3 points into E and then start. I don't know if you'd do W or Q more. I guess Q, you'd put points into Q because that's going to give you more damage right off the bat. I mean, you still need to put points into W in order to get this execute damage.
I'm just trying to think about how you can use this properly, because you're using it actively. So if you have the points into it early, you have the early points in the queue, and you press the active on this, you don't have to have Bladed Quiver stacks on somebody to get the extra damage. So you don't have to attack them 3 times WQ. You can just W and Q somebody for a ton of damage and snipe them out. I think this does make him better out of bottom lane. The attack speed bit hurts because you were using quite a bit of attacks to get your Bladed Quiver stacks, but if you're getting the extra of it through W.
Well, it might make his laning a little bit weaker with that less attack speed for trading.
Yeah, and
like you were saying, you're not going to get you're not going to enjoy the full benefit of this buff from W until you've got some points into both Q and W, really. And if you're going for this build, this might be a build thing, right? Like we were talking about. This might be an AD Varus build thing. where you're maxing Q and maybe only putting 1 point in E. And if that's any good, who knows? That's going to be a very weak laning phase. Not saying that's going to be ideal, but
Punch says
it could be worth trying.
That I watched him play Varus, he maxed Q, and then I yelled at him about it, and it was too late because it was 3.
I realized I was doing it wrong as I was playing him. I'm like, I should be maxing E, right? Yeah, I think Q is old hat, and then I got a message from Pone during that. You're doing it wrong. What are you doing?
This one's gonna be. I can't like pick this off right straight off the top and say yes, good, bad. I could say that I'm intrigued enough to want to try potentially a Q max again because I did max Q for a while on Varus, but I think that there's just too much consistent damage through E that that you're still maxing it. The on-hit damage being reduced on W does hurt quite a bit too because you're losing 5 at early levels, which makes last hitting harder, and that extra damage that's 15 through 3 auto attacks that you're missing on an enemy champion.
Yeah, I mean, the nerfs really do hurt his laning phase. I kind of see what you're saying here. You might have to put points into E just to survive laning, and then I guess the new active kicks in for mid and late game to help him scale better.
But then even then, you're just sniping with it. Like you're trying to snipe people out that have taken damage from your team poking, right? Because you're pressing W and queuing somebody.
If you're leveling Q last, you have to save it to use it for the execute because the cooldown is 20 seconds at rank 1. If you wanted to use it more often than once in a team fight, you have to level it second.
Yeah, see, the more we talk through this, the more I realize that this is phenomenal for mid and late game. But other than that, I can't imagine it making a big deal breaker because they killed his laning phase too much through the attack speed and on hit damage.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, let's move on to Vi. The Vi main saying this is great, thanks, but doesn't help. Base stats, base armor down to 30 from 35. Armor growth up to 4. Base health regen up to 10 from 9. Health regen growth up 0.1 to 1. Passive blast shield, the cooldown is down to 12 to 8 seconds from 16 to 8. Vault Breaker, her Q, the cooldown was 16 to 8, is now 12 to 8. Excessive Force was 40 to 60 mana, now 26 to 50 mana. I think go ahead.
I don't know. I have visions of Camille because of that shield passive.
Yeah, 4 seconds off the shield and 4 seconds off the Q. That seems like a really good buff. And even is this going to be like lane Vi? Because she can use her E.
That's what they're aiming for. Yeah, so you should get the shield more often for trading, more health regen to sustain in lane.
And you only put 1 point in Q, so
yeah, and then less mana for E, so you can use that more. Because I mean, E in lane is very important. That's your trading. That's your wave management.
That's the auto attack reset, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're gonna be using that a lot in lane. W really doesn't do anything in lane, which is probably part of the reason that Vi is so is why she's a jungler. And even though she was intended to be a top laner at first, according to Riot, she never really thrived there because W doesn't really do anything. In order to get the bonus from W in top lane, you have to dedicate yourself to a longer trade. And there's a lot of champions that just do more damage than Vi in a long trade. See Darius or Jax or Nasus at level 6.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Jax
you could go down a long list of people that want a 1v1 Vi and say, oh yeah, let's do this. Commit to a fight, Vi. She's not a great duelist.
If you had Vi and any kind of jungler, you're pretty screwed with her ultimate.
Oh yeah, she's great at ganking, great at setting up ganks.
Well, that's the same thing if Vi's jungler and you have any top lane, it's the same thing.
I don't see this putting Vi in top lane at all because her problem, in my opinion, top has always been that her Q is kind of unreliable as a mobility spell in a 1v1 duel. Just because like you can position yourself in front of it, for example, to block it, or it has its charge time, so you take free damage like during the windup. So like the only scenario where like these changes make her strong in top is if she's strong enough to go in with Q and not lose the fight. So I don't know. I don't know if she's strong enough to do that.
And like you said, Q is so telegraphed. It's not the easiest thing to hit when I can see you coming.
It's pretty weak. Yeah, like when you're that telegraphed, it's just you fall off at high play, like high level. So
I wonder if they could make it so the damage scales, but the distance is the same, depending on how long you hold it down. I don't know if that'd be too strong.
People on the Vi forum want her Q to break shields, which I think is
They wanted a lot of things.
Crazy asinine thing to ever ask for in my entire life. So left to be seen on Vi. Again, I can't talk to her being on a top lane. So I'll let your guys' words.
I'm willing to try it. I'm not hopeful. Yeah, I'll lose a game. I played Evelyn top.
Sure, why not? Xayah getting... Go ahead.
I mean, I only play Garen, but I'm down to beat whoever wants to try it.
It sounds like y'all should 1v1 after the show.
We don't have to.
1v1 me at Baron, bro.
We already know the outcome. I think we can skip that.
I just want to be on your team, bro. I don't want to play against you anyway.
He doesn't want to embarrass you. Xayah base stats, base health regen down to 5. Clean cuts, the passive. Pass-through damage has been decreased. It is now 30 to 50% at levels 1, 7, and 13. It's 50% at all levels. It's cutting down on her early damage. And that's the thing. If really good Xayahs who can stack up their passive were doing too much damage. And that really did separate how
that does
well
hurt.
can you do. Yeah. It's something that it's one of those changes, in my opinion, that she needed for higher levels of play, for those that are really, really good at stacking and maneuvering around to get the feathers out. But anybody else, it doesn't matter. It just hurts them. So
cool. I'm glad Xayah got a nerf.
All right.
Too strong.
Rek'Sai,
too strong for too long.
Rek'Sai and Swain, they got some bug fixing going on. If you want to read those, go ahead and hit the patch notes.
Wait, no. The Swain fixes that. The Swain one's actually, it's not a fix. It's
okay. No rush. Now only gives 1 stack for phase rush purposes. He's an E.
Yeah, so why this sucks is if you're in lane and you land your E and you pull them with your passive, you would get phase rush, and while they're still rooted, it would give you time to start running past them and like have your ultimate going. So it lets you reposition while they're still rooted, and now you're gonna have to like either auto or Q them, and during that time they'll have been unrooted and get to move away. So it actually does affect his laning more than you would think.
Oh no, Swain being bad. Who would ever want that?
I don't want that. Swain's awesome.
Archangel staff mana to ability power conversion was 3%. It is now 1%.
Item needed to be nerfed.
Hell yeah.
Screw mana.
Right.
It's not like anybody has relevant mana costs unless you're Lissandra.
The throwback.
Pretty much.
Lethal tempo attack speed goes 40 to 110% instead of 30 to 80%.
Hey, that's interesting. Might consider that on Kale if press the attack wasn't so damn good.
Right.
I don't know, 30% extra attack speed level 18 seems pretty nice.
It's tempting.
Yeah, I think you give up too much picking this up. Picking this up over anything else, either sustain or potential trade damage, because you have to still stack it, right? Lethal tempo. Because
you auto them and then it takes a second for it to proc.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to stack it up.
Right. Well,
You just gotta
stacking by waiting is what I'm trying to go for.
Yeah.
I mean, press the attack is still the superior. I mean, if you've got any sort of lane pressure, I feel like you're still going to go. If you're deciding between this and press the attack, and you have any sort of lane pressure, I still think you want press the attack. It's just better for lane. It's going to put out more damage for you.
Right.
This is the later game scaling.
I agree. And that's it. That's patch 8.8.
That's it.
Woo.
We did it in exactly an hour. We made it.
We didn't have Dom to come through the bug fixes for us. We don't know if any of these are important.
If something got fixed, congratulations. One of these bug fixes was.
My goodness, there are a lot of them.
There were some new bugs introduced, like
Zoe.
Here's the Garen
Zoe.
one. Wait, there's a Garen one. Steel Legion's Garen's villain mark is now at the same height when comparing it to enemy and ally perspectives.
Oh,
that seems
shit.
huge.
Mother of God.
I'm going to be Challenger.
Damn dog.
No, LeBlanc was disabled because I guess her ultimate was going on cooldown for like 7 minutes and she was crashing this.
What?
Nice.
That's kind of a big deal. So they're fixing her. Yeah. And yeah, the double Zoe Q, which if you haven't seen that, I guess there's some bug where Zoe can cast Q twice or she's getting double damage on Q, something like that. It's scary.
Yeah, you linked the video, but I had a hard time telling what was going on.
Yeah, I also linked the Reddit thread because I had to look that up because I also didn't know what was going on, and they describe it a little bit better, but I'm still a little confused.
All right, that bit of silence says we made it through the patch and everyone is happy.
So happy with this patch. I guess.
Right, guys, get out there, go gain some elo, gain some LP, support your favorite shows. Meta Report's coming out here very shortly. I'm going to push that out to Patreon. And happy tax day, by the way. Taxes got extended until the 18th, and today's the 18th. So by the time you listen to this, the taxes should have already been in. But
we love taxes.
So there it is, guys. We will see you all on Monday with some more League of Legends discussion. Have a good one. Peace.
See ya.
Later.
See ya.